So as you may be aware, Microsoft Teams can be used as a unified communications platform. So that's looking at not just kind of our traditional Teams meetings where we're looking at internal customer video communication. It's moving beyond that. So using that as a traditional phone system, content sharing, and basically becoming a platform entirely for any form of communications, whether that be text, video, or audio. Matt will be covering off Teams Phone predominantly today, so covering off the telephony, what call bundles we can utilize, call reporting and call recording that's available with that. Also, as a business, we offer Microsoft Teams Room systems. So this is conferencing systems that can be used to provide a hybrid working space for companies. There's a lot of flexibility in the hardware that's available, and it also integrates with Copilot as well. It just provides that seamless platform for businesses.
So over to me. I guess what I'll do is I'll start by talking a bit about the marketplace and why businesses are actually transitioning to Teams Phone as their communication platform. So to start with, I just want to highlight that Microsoft Teams as a platform is growing, not just from a meetings capability, but also from a telephony perspective. And there's a few stats that I just populated on the screen on the right-hand side that you can look at. But Teams really is growing as a full communication suite. And Gartner have a Magic Quadrant for UCaaS, and Microsoft have been number one for the last 7 years on the trot, which really does highlight their emphasis on ensuring their telephony system is absolutely the best in the market and the one that can give real opportunity to businesses who opt for a Teams Phone solution. But traditionally, when we think of Microsoft Teams, we all think of an experience just like this. Teams meetings, where we're on a meetings call, speaking to colleagues, customers, suppliers, etc. However, Teams is much more than just a meetings platform that we all think. Teams can be a telephony system in full capabilities, whether that's using the desktop app that we probably use day to day, whether it's the mobile app, whether it's a Teams Phone solution, whether it's some of those Teams meeting rooms that Lewis mentioned before, or even if it's something a bit more clever where we're looking at using other Microsoft applications like Outlook or Dynamics 365 and having the ability to make calls natively from those applications. Teams Phone enables you to make calls to the external world from whatever part of Teams or the Microsoft ecosystem you desire. It enables a single pane of glass for all communication for your users so that you've got the ability to collaborate on all fronts within the Teams platform. It also gives you a whole load of telephony features, things like the ability to change your number presentation from your own DDI to your department DDI to your main business DDI. You've got the ability to see your call history. You've got the ability to see your voicemails. You've got the ability to have things like auto attendance, call queues. The full capability of the Teams Phone suite with Operator Connect is really come on leaps and bounds over the last few years, and it really is a powerful solution that you can use as a business. If you do want to understand a bit more around how it looks and see a demo of this, please do reach out to Lewis and the team, and we can absolutely provide you with a full demo to show you the full capabilities of what Teams Phone and Operator Connect can do. Because even if you viewed it a few years ago, you'll probably see it as came on leaps and bounds. Just to point out one feature that I will delve into a bit more detail later is things like callback on queues, the ability to actually receive a callback, press a button to request a callback if needed whilst in a call queue. Those sorts of contact center features are coming natively into this product, which is really exciting stuff. So why are businesses choosing Microsoft Teams? Well, the fundamental reason is that businesses are using remote and hybrid working more so over the last few years, and Teams is absolutely a platform that embraces that. It's a familiar platform that many people are using. We all use it for meetings, so why not use it for telephony, unifying that communications experience into that one Microsoft Teams experience. You've also got a recognized brand that you may have existing licensing from that you're already spending. It enables you to get more value from your existing licensing by using Teams in a more broad perspective than just for a certain aspect of it, like chat, meetings, etc. But it really is a feature-rich solution, and that's the one that I really want to highlight here. The capabilities within Teams Phone and Operator Connect are absolutely improving all the time. Some of the features that have been there for a while to some of the new features, it really enables you to be more effective, productive as a business when communicating to your customers. And we'll delve a lot more into that feature-rich solution as we progress through the webinar today. So how does it actually work? It really is as easy as 1, 2, 3. When we are using Microsoft Teams and we wanting to take it to that next level and make it a phone system, you do obviously need some Microsoft licensing. So you need your 365 licensing, which most of you will already have, whether that's business standard, whether that's business premium, or whether you're on enterprise licensing like E1 and E3. That license is the license that will give you that access to a lot of the Microsoft applications. And obviously in this case, Microsoft Teams being that application that we need. You then need to have another Microsoft license called Teams Phone Standard. And this is the license that gives you a lot of the software capabilities, the Teams Phone system features, things like auto attendance, things like call queues, all voicemails, all of those features come within this license. And that's ensuring your software is right up to date so that you can have a telephony system inside of Teams. And then the final bit is the bit that we haven't talked about so much as of yet, which is Operator Connect. And that is your calls, lines, and minutes. That is the actual network behind the software to make this all work, to make you be able to call external parties via a telephony system in Teams to your customers. So that middle license that I mentioned in the middle, Teams Phone Standard, the features and functionality, as I said, have come on leaps and bounds. It is a really, really capable system that we have as part of Teams Phone today. And just on the screen now, I'm just going to pop up some of these features. I'm not going to go through every one, and I've obviously referred to a few of these so far, but even things like call transfer, really, really clever that you can see the presence across Teams on all of your users when you go to transfer a call to them. You can transfer via audio or via chat. So if you're doing a consultant transfer and you're trying to transfer to a colleague, when you speak to that colleague, you can either call them via audio, or you could use the Teams chat function. So it's about how Teams embraces all of those communication mechanisms to really make sure that phone system is really efficient and productive for your day-to-day users. It can integrate with Outlook, something that we probably don't really think about or take for granted, but because it's a Microsoft product, both Outlook and Teams, they can integrate. There are so many capabilities that you might not be aware of that we can absolutely show. And again, as I mentioned earlier, if you do want to see this demo in more detail in terms of the actual in use of the phone system and how it works, how you make a call, all that good stuff, please do just let us know and we can absolutely give you a full demonstration. But the Operator Connect is just the bit that I want to take a bit more time on, because this is possibly the bit that's a bit more unknown. You may not have actually heard of the term Operator Connect, but actually, if we just simplify it, Operator Connect is just voice enabling Microsoft Teams. It's taking your Microsoft Teams platform from being a software to actually it being a telephony system. It's about that communication being unified. But Operator Connect as a term is a Microsoft framework. This is where Microsoft basically created an elite group of providers across the globe that are certified and verified to provide voice to their platform. And there is not a huge amount of people who can offer that service. Obviously enhanced through their capability and partnership with Gamma are able to offer that to you guys as a business. And what that means for you is that you get full quality of service on any voice traffic that you make or receive across the Teams platform. You get inclusive minutes, including your international calls, which Lewis will be able to share with you should you be interested further around how that minutes package stacks up. We also offer something called SIP Trunk Call Manager as standard. So we aren't just thinking about your day-to-day usage of the system, your calls, lines, your quality of service. We're actually thinking about those scenarios that may happen that we hope don't happen. Things like disaster recovery. So we offer something called SIP Trunk Call Manager, a part of the solution, which is essentially an additional overlay platform that should Teams ever have an issue, this platform has the ability to redivert calls at your network level, ensuring you can give your customers the best customer service in all scenarios. But I think the summarization of this part of the webinar is that it is just so much more than a meetings platform. It is not just these meetings and webinars that we're on today. It's about how you can use them for every single communication interaction, whether that be audio, whether that be chat, across the system. And some of you may have seen a very recent release around Teams chats that's going to be made available, where you can actually chat to anybody with a Teams with an email across Teams. So it's not just going to be intercompany. There's lots of things that are changing, and this platform is absolutely pioneering the way in terms of telephony in this day and age. But what we talked about so far, and I'm sorry if anyone's feeling a little bit hungry, and if anyone's fasting, I really do apologize. But if you think of a Big Mac here, when you go to McDonald's, the main event is the burger, and that's what we've talked about so far. It is making Teams your telephony system. But many of you on this call may have other requirements. You may have things like you want your chips, you want your drink, you want your McFlurry. And in the Teams phone world, there is lots of capability you can add on to the Teams phone and the Operator Connect solution, so that core phone system, to make it a solution rather than a system. And that comes in the form of things like call recording, which we can do via our partner Dubber. It comes in the form of analytics, which we can do in the form of our solution at Kixie, and then also hardware. We often forget about the hardware because we think of Teams being that laptop application, but Teams can absolutely have hardware for more traditional users, for classrooms, staff rooms, meeting rooms, warehouses, whatever it may be that's applicable to your organization. Hardware is absolutely powerful as well. So I'm just going to take a bit of time to just go through some of these additional services that you can add to ensure you have a solution rather than just a core system, and make sure we tick any requirements that you may have as a business within your phone system today and in the future. So this is what we call the service suite, and it is all about leveling up Teams phone to that solution. And the first one is what I referred to as call recording before, but I'm going to refer to it now as conversation intelligence, because our call recording solution is not just recording your calls. It does record your calls. It does give you unlimited storage. You would expect that. But what also it can do is it can summarize your calls. So if I am looking at a 10-minute call, I can get a summary in a few lines that explains what was discussed on that call between my employee and one of my customers. I can also listen to the call as you would expect. I can get a full transcription of the call, so I can see the call in full, and I could possibly copy that and put it into my CRM system. Or if you really want to be advanced, there is a premium API, so you can extract that information automatically. So there's lots of capabilities you can do within there. And if your screen is a bit bigger than mine, you may be able to read some of the bits towards the bottom around topics and the moments. This is actually AI that is picking up on the conversations that have been had, and it's recognizing that this call was a complaint about a technical issue. And because the system is able to do that, it then is able to build dashboards and reports that can help make business decisions and understand what the interactions have been between your business and your customers. So it is really, really powerful. And this is exactly where we see the value of how you can make it not just be your Teams as your phone system, how you can add and improve the solution even further with the addition of conversation intelligence. Again, in addition to call recording, we also have that reporting and analytics solution. And what I would say with this is Teams does have reporting built in, but it's very much granular and a bit more of a call log. The analytics solution we can provide gives you things like wallboards. It gives you the ability to see how many calls a user's made, missed, answered, the wait times, and you can do that across your users and your groups. So it's consumable reporting across a business that can be really, really helpful, again, for understanding customer interaction, but also help facilitate business decisions. And then that hardware, I did mention some of the examples of where these can be used in terms of receptions and shared areas. Handsets and headsets are absolutely something that can be provided. Those handsets, wide range of options. You've got Poly, you've got Yearlink that you can use, but also those headsets. You can see today I'm using a headset in busy office environments. Headsets are probably really, really important. So it's important to have a good headset that's possibly noise cancelling. We've got a whole range to choose from. And the last thing, that Teams meeting rooms and devices that Lewis referred to at the start, that is absolutely where you can take this on a full circle. You go from just having your Microsoft licensing and Teams solution for meetings and messaging, and you go on the Teams phone journey, and then you bring it back that full circle to ensure that your office spaces are built to ensure you've got a full Teams solution that is really future-proof and taking your business to that kind of next level. So that's some of the extra capability that you can slot onto the sides, should that be a requirement. But again, it's optional, and it's all about us understanding what requirements you need as an organization and building that for you. So the call recording, I'm zooming in a bit because it was very small, but this just shows you an example of what the call recording can do. You can see who's on a call, you can see the time date stamp, you can see that summarization, that moment, so I can see the complaints. So these are the sorts of things that you'll be able to achieve. So really, really powerful, going beyond just recording your calls and storing them for later access. But I guess you can't expect me to talk about anything around Microsoft without mentioning this logo, which I'm sure you've all come across or heard about before, which is Copilot. Copilot is obviously a Microsoft solution, and because the system we're providing in terms of the phone system is embedded into Microsoft Teams and is Microsoft Teams, this really does become a powerful asset that we can use. Fundamentally, Copilot is there for intelligent recap. It's all about having that assistant to your side that can help summarize calls, recap calls, give you action notes. But the good thing with Copilot is it's not just on meetings. It can do it on telephony calls. So, say I'm out and about, I'm running to catch a train, and I'm on a call, and I'm speaking to someone, and yep, I'll follow up later. But I've then got a full day ahead of me. By the time it comes to the end of the day, I may have actually forgotten what I was going to do. And I'll be honest, in the past, I've probably fell foul to that. But with Copilot, it can summarize the call. So I'm not going to forget any conversation that I have with customers. And that's on a telephony conversation. So that's the kind of immediate part of Copilot and where that can improve Teams phone. And that's probably the bit that I would say a lot of people are aware of what Copilot does. But the next slide I'm going to show you is probably one that's less so recognized and known as to how Copilot can improve Teams phone. And for me, it's probably the first point of where I thought this is AI that can really help me and all their colleagues and employees within an organization. And that's what Copilot can do on call transfers. So we all receive calls that come into us and we speak to somebody, and really the call is probably not meant for us. It's probably meant for a colleague, someone in a different department. But I might have spent 5, 6, 7, 8 minutes talking to this client about their issue, what they want, and they will probably have explained it in full to me, what they're looking for, etc. But usually what I have to do is I then have to put the customer on hold, and then I have to speak to a colleague and probably spend 4 or 5 minutes explaining to the colleague what that conversation was about. When you have Copilot, you actually have the ability to just tick a box. And as you can see on the screen, and apologies, it's a little bit blurry, is when you tick that box, it literally gives you the call context of what was discussed on that initial call. And when you transfer that call to your colleague, it will pop that on their screen so that they actually have that call context and summarization. So when they speak to the customer, they don't need the customer to fully explain the initial discussion again. They can pick up on their notes and say that back to the customer. So I hear you've been discussing about your new phone system and the capabilities of it. Is there anything specific so you can actually have, you can lead the conversation rather than having to make the customer explain again. So it's really, really powerful, that context it can generate when transferring calls. And I mentioned before around presence on transfers. There's lots of clever stuff that it can do as standard, but Copilot's how you take it again to that next level if you so wish. But I guess in summary, before I hand you back over to Lewis, is that the key thing with Microsoft Teams is that it can absolutely unify communications. I think we've probably all heard the term or spoke about unified communications as a service, but Microsoft Teams really does epitomize that. It's about bringing that meetings, chat, that telephony experience, and even that handset experience, meetings room experience, all into one single platform, so you can communicate without having to waste time by moving from platform to platform. It's all in that one single application. And probably the bit that I haven't really touched on today is also around that management. The Teams Admin Center is where everything is managed, so it's actually one single platform from that perspective as well. The other piece that we kind of dipped our toe into through the call recording solution and how that can analyze your calls, the analytics solution of how that can understand how many calls are coming to your business, how long they're waiting, etc. And also that Copilot reference that I mentioned around the transfers and the intelligent recap. They are all ways that you can embrace other capabilities to enhance this already fantastic solution to that next level for you as a business. And as I will kind of leave you before I pass back over to Lewis, is do get in touch with the team at Enhance to learn more. We're absolutely keen to show you more than what we've give you an insight today on, because Teams really is an advanced solution. And without showing you in full, it's quite hard to probably articulate just how clever and improved the solution is over the last few years. It can be a real forefront in business communications today in 2025, and as we move through over the next few years. And that's why lots of businesses are going down this route.